Hey guys, it's Jess, and I'm coming back to you today with another prayer and gratitude journaling video. And I'm still talking about the 12 disciples, and today we're going to be talking about Thomas. Now, Thomas, it has a nickname of Doubting Thomas. So if you don't know anything about Thomas, you probably know that his nickname was Doubting Thomas. And that is because of the story that comes from John chapter 20, and I will tell you guys the story in a nutshell. But basically, after the resurrection, after Jesus was crucified and resurrected, he went to go visit the disciples. And unfortunately, Thomas was not there when he went to go visit the disciples. But when Thomas came back, the disciples told him that they saw Jesus and, he was alive and he was well. And Thomas didn't believe them. Thomas didn't believe them at all. He was like, y'all are tripping. What are y'all talking about? Jesus is dead. What are y'all talking about? So, the disciples were still like, no, he's alive, Thomas. And Thomas was still like, no, which is how he got the nickname Doubting Thomas. He was very skeptical and he didn't believe them. So basically, he told them, he had this speech to the disciples about how he needed to see the mark of the nails in Jesus' hands, and just basically he needs to be able to touch Jesus' wounds for him to know that Jesus was alive. And that's what I'm writing down right now. I mean, I'm paraphrasing that for you guys, but I'm writing down the scripture right now that Thomas told the disciples. But yeah, so 8 days later, after he made this speech, 8 days later, Jesus came back and visited the disciples again, and Thomas was there that time. And Jesus let Thomas touch his wounds and, let him touch the wounds and touch the mark of the nails and, just all that Thomas was talking about. Jesus let him touch the wounds, and then Thomas believed after that. And then Jesus told him, which is where my scripture on that sidebar comes from, blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. Basically saying we have to continue to keep having faith in God, even when we can't see what's going on, even when we don't witness miracles and we don't think that God is there. He is there, and we need to continue to have faith in God. And so that's what I'm writing down right now, and that's the application that I'm using this for my life, is that, even when we think God is distant, we still have to continue to trust him. Thomas was a disciple, and, it wasn't like he was skeptical of everything at every moment. And, because Thomas was a follower of Jesus, but, in this particular moment, he just didn't believe that Jesus was resurrected. He didn't have faith in Jesus. And I think, and this is my interpretation, but I think it's because Jesus he had this perception that Jesus wasn't there and that Jesus was distant from his life. And, there are times in my life when I don't think that Jesus is as close as I want him to be, and I lose faith, especially when things are going bad in my life or when things are going wrong. There are times where I lose faith, and I'm not afraid to say that. I am a Christian and I follow Jesus, but there are times where, I lose faith. But I am grateful that, whenever I do lose faith, God is still there, and he continues to grant me mercy. And, he continues to bless me anyway, regardless of if I lose that faith. And, just applying that to Thomas, going back to Thomas, Jesus didn't have to come back to show Thomas the wounds, but he did it anyway, because God is always there for us. I hope that I'm trying to bridge the gap between like my life and Thomas's life, if that makes sense. So, metaphorically, literally Jesus came back to show Thomas the wounds and just to show him that he was there. And I feel like in our lives, in my personal life, even when I stop having faith, Jesus will do something or do some kind of miracle to show me that he's there. Does that make sense, you guys? I'll try to just basically tell you guys to have faith and keep having faith regardless of what's going on in your life. Life can be hard, I know, but you know, if you just continue to keep the faith, God will continue to bless you. God will continue to show you mercy and grant you grace, and you know, he's always there. Even when you feel like he's not, he is there. So yeah, this is how the entire spread turned out. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Thanks so much for listening, and I will see you next time. Bye.